Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
So from today, we are going to start modern Indian history. Okay. Yeah. See the first question of the day. Clarify how mid-18th century India was beset with specter of a fragmented polity. Take just a couple of minutes and give the framework of the answer. Some of you must have attended my modern Indian history module, but then just try to take 2 minutes and give the framework here. Yeah. So clarify how mid-18th century India was beset with specter of fragmented polity. So basically what you're expected to write is between 17th century to 18th century. So 1700 to 1799 is basically called as the 1700 to 1799. This is called the 18th century. During this time, there was a fragmented polity. So the question says, clarify how mid-18th India was beset with specter of a fragmented polity. So you need to write the introduction. That is, what was exactly the fragmented polity here. So we can say there are many regional kingdoms which are coming. Many regional kingdoms which have come up. I'll be slightly fast because we have started the class 5 minutes late, and then I was told that 6:30 you have a political science lecture. Okay, so the fragmented polity, basically we know that 1707, okay, this is in the body. You will write the reasons for fragmented polity, because what are the main reasons? If you see, reasons for fragmented polity is death of Aurangzeb, weak successors, growing aspirations in Mughal court, and so on. So what, and then here you need to write what do you mean by fragmented polity. Here you need to mention Bengal, Awadh, Mysore, Hyderabad, Marathas, and Punjab. So how various kingdoms were trying to have their own say within the regional affairs. Bengal was practically independent but was functioning under Mughal, under the title of Mughal. Same with Awadh and same with Hyderabad. Marathas were prominent right from the time of Aurangzeb. And Mysore was having its own Wadiyar dynasty. Punjab, it has its own Sikh dynasty. So, and you can also say further this was weakened by foreign invasions of 1738 Nadir Shah and 1761 Ahmad Shah Abdali, that is third battle of Panipat. This fragmented polity was further exposed during this time. And in the conclusion, you can say the growth of British Empire to a certain extent can be attributed to the fragmented polity also. So with regard to modern history, where some of you have not attended my previous classes, I'll definitely try to help with certain approach where your introduction, body, and conclusion will have to be in certain way. Okay, so tomorrow we'll discuss very detailed about the approach, because the introduction should connect to certain part of your question, and then body should explain the essence of the question, and the conclusion should relate to the next event, which is directly depending on that particular context. So Ranjini, you have written the first question. Yes, weak successors, regional rulers. And then you need to mention certain regional powers. Ranjini?
Yes, sir. I have mentioned in the third point.
But you have only given the headings, right? So it's like you need to mention, you have to focus more here. Okay. So why there was fragmented polity, you have given reasons. Okay. And then you need to mention certain case studies, like though, for example, Bengal, Hyderabad and Awadh, practically they were independent, but they were functioning under the title or head of Mughals. Yes, that's why they were never called themselves as Badshahs. They were calling themselves as Nizam, Subedar, etc. Okay. Clear, Ranjani?
Yes, sir.
You see the second question. The third battle of Panipat was fought in 1761. Why were so many empire-shaking battles fought at Panipat? Okay, very straightforward question. Yeah, give me the answer. Yeah, most of you have given valid points. The third battle of Panipat was fought in 1761. Okay, why were so many empire-shaking battles fought at Panipat? So the question is, why were so many empire-shaking battles fought at Panipat? Okay, so basically what the examiner is expecting you here, because we all know Panipat is a place where three famous battles were fought. Okay, one is in 1526, 1556 and 1761. 1, 2, 3. All the three were coincidentally empire shaking only, because the first one paved the way for the foundation of Mughals. Second one, again taking over from Sher Shah Suri to, Mughals. And then finally, Marathas, who were almost the next successors of Mughals, they lost in this particular battle. And then it indirectly helped Britishers. Indirectly, not directly, indirectly. Indirectly, it helped the Britishers. Just give me a minute. Hello? Hello? Yes? Can you call me in half an hour? Okay. So, yeah. So, indirectly, it helped Britishers because Marathas became extremely weak after the third battle of Panipat. So, in a way, yes, it is a place where there have been a lot of empire shaking battles. So in the intro, you can say Panipat has been a place where there have been three prominent wars, which almost had direct impact on the political landscape of India. And then in the body, you will explain what exactly is the political landscape we are referring to. And in the body, you will explain what is so significant about Panipat. Because if you see, okay, India's map, okay, it is somewhere like this. Please try to draw this map in what time I drew, because it is just at least looking like India. Okay, so this is the northwestern borders India is we are talking about. Okay, Panipat is somewhere here near the Delhi area, and one of the reason is the first line of defense is the northwestern borders, that is the Hindu Kush region. That is the present Afghanistan, because it was part of the Indian subcontinent. And then you have this Himalayas. And finally, after crossing these two frontiers, the external invaders are entering at this place called Panipat. It is a plain area, plain. So it is an open battlefield. Panipat is the last line of defense. And then it is an open battlefield. Open battlefield because it's a plain area, and where the enemies confront each other. So it's like last confrontation. In the hills, you have passes. You can pass, block those passes and stop the enemies. But in the plain area, it is an open confrontation, and it is very near to the power center. What is the power center generally? Delhi. So the moment you encounter your final enemy at the Panipat, the next logical destination is Delhi. So you win Panipat, you win Delhi. And hence, the strategic importance of Panipat is very significant in the context of Indian history. And to just add one point, you can write the third battle of Panipat was where Abdali defeated Marathas, and Marathas were humiliated once for all, and their power decreased tremendously thereafter, and which logically paved way for Britishers to enter the Indian political landscape. That can be your conclusion. You can say that while every battle of Panipat has its own significance, with regard to the third battle of Panipat, the significance is that it paved way for a foreign power which went on to rule for next 150 years in the Indian context. Clear? Anything else you want to add? Clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So someone who has not written the word answers, Sumant. Good to see so many copies in short notice. I hope, modern Indian history is something everyone likes. So hoping to see more number of scripts from tomorrow onwards. Tomorrow onwards, it will be normal time, 9:15 to 10:15, same. Okay, 9 to 10. Yes, very good point. Very good point. So this is the context which we want to establish. Good point, Suman. On paper, Afghans have won because Afghans never wanted to settle. But this paved way for British. Yes. Yes, last strong line of defense. Very good points, Suman. Nice answer. So maybe this point, because your introduction is looking too big, this point you can put it in your conclusion. Think about it. Here you can mention, here you can reassert for the fact that it is empire shaking. Introduction can be why it is empire shaking. Conclusion can be attaching this to this can be the conclusion. Body is good. Clear, Suman? Okay, if you can do that modifications, the answer will look much more in flow. You just try to understand what I'm trying to say and then you'll appreciate it. Clear? Yeah. See the next question. Trace the rise and growth of socio-religious reforms with special reference to Young Bengal, Brahmo Samaj. Again, a fairly easy question, 150 words. Yeah, please take 2 minutes. Just try to give some framework or important points which you believe. Yeah. For third question, the framework would be like this. First, you need to give the reasons for the rise and growth of socio-religious movements. Okay, what are the reasons for rise and growth of socio-religious movements? What are the causes? Okay, the framework will be like this. Reasons for rise and growth, first option. And then second, you need to write about Brahmo Samaj. And then Young Bengal movement, and then conclude. Conclusion should be on a forward orientation. What do you mean by forward orientation? You need to mention how these particular socio-religious or socio-cultural movements have helped in building up the national consciousness and thereby logical formation of Indian National Congress. Okay, that can be the conclusion part. So first, what are the reasons for the growth? Please tell me, what are the reasons for the growth? What are the reasons for rise and growth of the socio-religious movements of the 19th century? Socio-religious reforms of the 19th century. One is the growing complexity again in the religion. Okay, reasons. These are the reasons. And then exposure to modern Western education. Just 1 minute, I'll switch off the video. So exposure to modern education. People like Raja Ram Mohan Roy were exposed to the modern education. Impact of French Revolution and American Revolution. And then British rule. Obviously, British rule had its own impact. So these were the reasons which can be attributed for the growth of these two significant for the socio-religious movements of 19th century. Now coming to the special reference of Brahmo Samaj. Brahmo Samaj, we all know, established by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, and then it was against orthodox practices of Hindu religion. Okay, and then opposed certain evil practices, of like sati, promoted rational thought, and then fought caste system. And then it went on to become a continued movement even after Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So that is about Brahmo Samaj. And then coming to the Young Bengal movement. So what is Young Bengal movement? Who was the famous person involved with the Young Bengal movement? Henry Derozio. So he was very radical in approach, this Young Bengal movement, radical in approach. Okay, based on French Revolution. Okay, but it was very radical in approach, fought mainly for women's rights, and opposed caste system. But it died down after the death of Henry Derozio because it could not be continued, and at that time to have such kind of radical thoughts was very much not encouraged in that society. So the conclusion can be that these particular movements had their own impact in the context of Indian independence, and they have been helpful in promoting the national consciousness and thereby having direct impact upon the national movement. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Shanta Prasad, You have written many names, but the first part should be the reasons. As we discussed, try to have a reasons as side heading 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that should be the starting. Okay, Brahma Samaj, you have written well. The points about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Derozio. You can write it. It died down its natural death, right? After the Derozio, because the difference between Brahma Samaj and the Young Bengal movement is the Brahma Samaj continued to stay relevant, but YBM, it fell down.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, conclusion is good. So just take care of that body part. One part of the question you have missed it. Okay, so that you have to write what are the exact reasons.
Okay, sir.
Because they are saying that trace the rise and growth of socio-religious reforms, and in with the special reference to. So this part of the answer you have to answer. Fine. Last question. The 1827 uprising was culmination of recurrent big and small local rebellions that had occurred in preceding 100 years of British rule. Yeah, just take 2 minutes and give the context. Yeah. So since your class is starting in 6:30, by 6:30, I'll just start about this question. Yeah. 1857 uprising was culmination of recurrent big and small local rebellions that had occurred in preceding 100 years of British rule. So they are saying, they are asking you from 1757 onwards. Basically, they are saying 1857 is not an overnight movement. From 1757, that is from Battle of Plassey onwards, there is brewing discontent against British. Is it true? And 1857 is not an overnight movement. So you need to write, you need to support the statement. Yes. Okay. And then explain what are the reasons behind your yes. And then you need to mention what are the previous local rebellions. And then in the conclusion, you can say, right, these are the brewing causes. There are certain immediate reasons which have resulted in the 1857 revolt, like the doctrine of lapse is a classic example of immediate reason. One of the immediate reason, or the fall of Awadh. These are the immediate reasons, right? So first, you are supporting the statement. Yes, it is a culmination of the British attitude for last 100 years. This is the body. So how do you support this? Mention about the revenue policies, political meddling, okay, up to Dalhousie, and it was also during Wellesley, okay, and then tribal affairs being disturbed. Even Mughals did not disturb these areas. British have disturbed. Disguised unemployment. And then local industries ruined. Drain of wealth. Drain of wealth was a later term. So you can say local industries ruined. Dumping of British goods. Dumping of British goods. So these are the issues, policies. And then you have to mention what are the various rebellions. What are the various rebellions? One is the uprisings of tribals. Okay. We know that there is a Munda rebellion at around 1820. Then just before 1857, there is Santal rebellion of 1857. Okay, and other revolts by tribals like Bills, etc. And then peasants. Okay, Pagalpanthi rebellion, we all know. Pagalpanthi rebellion. Okay, and then Mopala rebellion. Pagalpanthi is 1825, Mopala rebellion 1836. Okay, you need not mention the dates or years. If you remember the years, you can write, or you need not write. Civil rebellions like Sannyasi rebellion, then Ahom rebellion, and even military rebellions were there. Military also were not. The famous is 1806 Vellore mutiny. Vellore mutiny. And then Solapur mutiny. So you need to write these important rebellions, and then the conclusion can be that yes, it was brewing for a long time, no doubt, but by the time it came to 1850s, British also went to the extremes and started meddling in many things, and there were some important immediate reasons like what we discussed. Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'll do from the Sriram, and then tomorrow we'll do remaining. Sriram, you have written the answer?
Yes, sir.
Revolt of 1850. Good. Now you have categorized civilian revolts. Yes, sannyasi, polygars. Good. Tribal revolts. Yes, Santhal, Kol, Bill, peasant movements, Pagalpanthi, Mopla, Paika rebellion of 1817, Odisha, Sepoy mutiny. Wherever, see, these Paika rebellion is 1818, Sepoy mutiny is 1806. These, when we remember, na, better to write name, years. This we all know. Okay, Sriram, it will add some value.
Yes, sir.
At least popular revolts, we know the dates, right? Okay. Here you can slightly write the point which we discussed. Immediate reasons also there. Because brewing was there from last 100 years. British had done something really bad in that particular decade or that preceding year. That's why there was an immediate outburst, right?
Yes, sir.
So that you can write, and then you can logically conclude that based on these issues only, there was a revolt. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tomorrow again we'll meet. Okay, I heard that you have a immediate optional session now, so please join that. Tomorrow we'll meet by 9 o'clock. Yeah, bye.